Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, as I clear my throat. Welcome to our Friday edition World of Warships, and I'm pretty sure, I think, this is my first time featuring a Supership here on the channel. So, I am on the public test server for this. This is back actually a battle I had in mid-October. I've just been sitting on this for a while before featuring it, and one of the reasons why I like playing on the public test server is to try out ships that I don't have, particularly the super ships, because if you are newer to the channel, you know that I tend to be a rather poor in credits player, so I just don't have the credit resources to pick up an Annapolis, Yamagiri, Zorki, anything like that. So I will occasionally just play them, test them out. I really like Conde a lot when I've played it on the public test server, but today I'm going to be featuring you the Annapolis. It is the next step up from the tier 10 American heavy cruiser, the Des Moines. On the enemy team and on our team, there are 3 bots. So we'll take that into account. More or less, I just wanted to talk about the ship, showcase the ship. The public test server tends to be more a place where you have players that are more relaxing. They're not approaching it maybe as they would a randoms battle, because you just see players do really questionable things, and if you don't know what I mean, don't worry, you'll see that in this battle. So as you just saw there, I used the burst fire that comes with the Annapolis. So it tends to actually work out really well, especially when you'll be going behind islands like I was. I thought, let's just go ahead and use the burst fire because there's no other targets in range for me to shoot. Maybe a destroyer around somewhere, but I can't see him. So let's just go ahead and use the burst fire on this bot Conde. And unfortunately, we did even set a fire out of that. So the burst fire lets you get several salvos off, as you saw. It's a bit of a trump card, if you will, at times, especially if you're dealing with you catch a player who goes broadside, cruiser or even a battleship, or destroyer. I mean, you can really punish them rather quickly. But you have this really extensively long reload time, which you saw. And there's the Holland torpedoes, because I was wondering where he was at. So we're going to catch one torp. But the burst fire is really strong if you know best when to utilize it. I don't think I actually use it again in this battle because of the standard reload time I have on these guns is roughly 5 seconds, or I'm just under 5, I don't remember. So for me, there's no point to utilize the burst fire when I can simply utilize this rather quick reload time, because your DPM will be greater just using the standard reload time than constantly using the burst fire. And I see a lot of players misuse the burst fire. So dealing with the bot, Conde, the bots just sail directly to wherever your location is. So even if you're stealthy, you're never detected, they're still going to sail right at you. So really, before I can go out to mid to deal with this Holland, I need to first get rid of the Conde, and he's looking over towards the enemy destroyer. So we're going to catch some shells on the island here. But what I'm wanting to do is go for his citadel just up underneath. Well, first we're getting the bow, and once he comes out around the corner more, the goal is to try to see if I can't punch more of his citadel. Maybe it's underneath underneath the front turrets there. That's where we'll aim. And so we get one, bring him down pretty close. So you can see just from how we end, it's 35 overpins and 12 pins. Now, the next thing I do is I pop my radar immediately. Why am I doing that? I'm being greedy because we're here on arms race, and I want to keep the Holland out of the reload buff. So far, our team is the only team that has any buffs at this point in time. Either surprising, I guess, I don't know. But I want the reload buff for myself, also because I have Halsey. And I want to get these guns reloading even faster, because that is such as powerhouse that you have, like with Des Moines, with Annapolis, when you're playing arms race, to get these reload buffs, even if it's your teammates picking them up, just because you can put some seriously impressive DPM down. Now, this is a situation I'm talking about here where I don't really know what the players always are thinking on the public test server. So the Holland decides to get in a gunfight with me in an Annapolis. Basically a tier 11 Des Moines, right? He doesn't have any smoke. He can't disengage. My radar, though he didn't know, was actually about to go down. But he senses the end is near. And what is he going to do? He's not shooting his guns there for an amount of time. So he's probably dumped torpedoes there. So now we're going to have to go bow in towards him. But going bow in towards him means we're going to be showing an unreasonable amount of broadside to this enemy. I think it was a Yoshino. So I find the gap. We're good. AP, so this is probably going to hurt. And we take one Citadel out of that. But now, with our greater DPM than the Annapolis, as he goes bow in, we're going to be switching over to HE here in just a minute. We're just going to angle away, kite away. There's no need for us to sweat, worry about going dark, because, or, you know, start firing our guns, sail away. Because I know I outtrade the Yoshino in terms of DPM. And so you're going to watch here as he melts rather quickly. So we're going to get some incapacitations here. So Annapolis is an absolute powerhouse. This battle's been going so quickly, I can't talk much more about the ship. But Annapolis is an absolute powerhouse, especially when you allow players to make unfortunate decisions, which you can capitalize on here, which we've done with the Holland, and now with the Yoshino. Ideally, the Yoshino should have kited away in this scenario, but we're just going to keep laying into him here, and we've already utilized, we're getting a little bit of a buff from our heal, which is great, as we continue to just light this Yoshino up. So we have the key area appearing in a minute, which is great because we're moving towards the center of the map anyhow. The Hanover is taking some shots at us, so I had to be mindful of that. And we're going to pick up the Yoshino. So that's up to 3 kills, 160,000 damage. And now we're fishing for the enemy submarine, trying to figure out where he might be at. So you still have the great HE DPM that you have, like, well, it's greater than the Des Moines. The AP is same improved penetration angles. You had the, I think the depth charges, maybe they're slightly more powerful. I don't remember. You have the same heal. You have the same radar. You can build into the radar. So I think if you saw, I had over like 50 seconds of radar there when I first popped it. And then you have at the radar, of course, it's 10 kilometers. And then you have the hydroacoustic search, which is also really good. So here the submarine is just, he's not deep enough. So we're going to be able to capitalize on that and polish him off. So I got the Hanover, and we have this Z52 left to deal with as we approach 180k. As someone, I don't know if that was the submarine we just killed, but he's pretty salty. Oh, I love it. So now we're going to go ahead and move and step onto the key area here. So I'm trying to see if I can get some shots in between the grooves. When you're playing more at, I don't know if I'd say it's intermediate, or I think it's honestly maybe more of a Unicum level. Try to find those divots in the islands. Familiarize yourselves with the islands on the maps, because oftentimes it can give you that little bit of additional edge. So we're able to do that here. Now note something happening here. I am not targeting the Z52. I don't know what the Z52 is thinking. I don't know if he thinks I'm just going to sail around the corner and deal with the Hanover. I don't know what's going through his mind, because if I was him looking at my minimap, oh my gosh, there's an Annapolis on the other side of this island. Oh gosh, that means I should sail out in front of the Annapolis at 5 kilometers away. So we don't lock onto him till here at the very end. We go ahead and pop our hydro in case he gets dumped some torpedoes off on us before he dies, because he's showing us a lot of broadside. And with this HE DPM, we're gonna roast him so quickly. Just 3 salvos. We could have used the burst fire there, but I don't sweat. I don't use the burst fire very often unless I'm going around behind an island, something like that. So that gave us the Kraken Unleashed with 220,000 damage. Again, yes, it's public test server. Again, yes, I know there's bots. that we killed a couple of them on the enemy team. Well, I guess it was just technically just a one. We've only killed one of the bots. So now we're going to set up in this kind of kiting angle again. I have an advantage here. I have, you know, the divot here in the island. We're going to go and pop radar. Yeah, 52 seconds. And so watch just this salvo here alone. Yeah, 14,000 with Halsey activated. So 14,000, 12,000. Didn't catch that DPM number of that. But with the broadside Hanover, we're going to be able to really lay down the damage quite strongly. I go ahead and preemptively pop my heal because I am on fire, but I know he's about to shoot, and I want to be able to have the leg up advantage here. So this battle goes really quickly, but Annapolis is a really strong super ship. I don't know if I'd say she's stronger than the Conde. I think it just depends on the scenario, but we're going to land with 289,000 damage with 6 destroyed. 7 fires, Confederate, High Caliber, and Kraken Unleashed. So just a really fun battle. Heavy cruiser, super ship, or in other words, tier 11. You can kind of think of the progression of Annapolis from Des Moines. Like think of it as when you go from Baltimore to Buffalo. Your reload time is roughly this, I think, the same, but you get that additional turrets, and then you get some better armor. And so think of it the same way. Baltimore to Buffalo, and then Des Moines to Annapolis. It's like the bigger, beefier brother, if you will, of the Des Moines. So just a really great ship. If you like playing heavy cruisers, if you like setting yourself up well, utilizing the islands, you like playing Des Moines, you know, there's no doubt in my mind, of course, that you would enjoy playing the Annapolis because she's OP, especially when you're able to get all 4 turrets on enemy targets. So that's the one thing you like. That's really what she excels in, of course, with her DPM when you can get all 4 turrets on target. Of course, doing so wisely. You notice when we were doing with the Holland, I wasn't getting all guns on at first. And that was also because I was conscious of the Hanover across the map. I didn't want to show him broadside, and he did actually take some shots at us. So you just have to, with great power comes great responsibility. You can easily get greedy in these super ships, and then you make a mistake. Costs you your ship, costs you all your health. So you have to play with a little bit of controlling mindset. That you're just not going to yellow just because you want to use the burst fire constantly, or you want to get all guns on target. You just have to have some situational awareness, I think, to get the most that I've experienced so far of these super ships, particularly with Annapolis. So tomorrow I'll be doing upgrade commander build video on the Annapolis because public test server is back up because I don't own this ship on the main server. So I'll go over the Annapolis, talk about the build. I have a slightly different commander build on Halsey now than I did in this video, and I'll just show you the difference in the video tomorrow because there's 2 or 3 different types of builds you can do with this ship. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you have already subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.